Good evening. Thanks for joining me this Tuesday on 7Edition. I'm Azlina Najri, and these are tonight's top stories. Motorists with clean road records to see more rewards. SST collection to surpass GST in coming years. And military preparations for Syria incursion complete, says Turkey. Now, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad is confident that the Sales and Services Tax SST collection will surpass that of the Goods and Services Tax GST in the coming years. Now, he said in Parliament today that the GST is a tax system which was rejected by the people. As such, there is no reason to reintroduce the tax regime. The Prime Minister was replying to Kalabakan MP Ma'mun Sulaiman, who wanted to know if the government is ready to replace the SST with the GST.
Cukai GST ini diperkenalkan dahulu dan kita dengar banyak rintihan daripada rakyat kerana kerap kali mereka membayar cukai dua kali dan kadang-kadang menunggu reimbursement tak sampai-sampai. Sebab itulah kita berpendapat bahawa kita perlu kembalikan balik SST, cukai jualan. Dan ini sedang berjalan dengan baik dan kita perlu memperbaiki lagi pelaksanaan cukai yang baru ini. Sebab itu kita tidak ada sebabnya yang kita akan kembali kepada cukai yang ditolak oleh rakyat dahulu.
At the same time, Tun Dr. Mahathir pointed out that frequent changes to the tax system will adversely affect the economy and lower investor confidence. The Premier also acknowledged that there is an expected shortfall of over 20 billion ringgit this year under the SST as compared to the GST's 44 billion annual collection. But he explained that this was usual for any new taxes that were introduced. The Prime Minister also stressed today that the government's new petrol subsidy scheme is intended to help only those who really deserve it, the B40 group.
Ini adalah bantuan yang tepat kepada mereka yang perlu bantuan. Bukan tiap orang yang ada Rolls Royce sampai 2-3 biji pun dapat subsidi daripada kerajaan.
He said that the new mechanism, which takes effect in January next year, will ensure that the aid reaches those who really need assistance compared to the previous subsidy scheme, which had benefited even those who were very rich. Under the new petrol subsidy, the price of RON 95 will float and eligible recipients will receive between 48 and 120 ringgit per 4 months. Starting next year, motorists with clean road records will be rewarded with handsome discounts on their annual vehicle insurance premium renewals. According to Transport Minister Anthony Lok, his ministry is in the final stages of completing the mechanism.
I mean, just that we have to integrate the system, the data. Kita memerlukan data daripada MySikap dan juga data daripada pihak PDRM, iaitu yang kita nak pastikan orang yang tak ada saman dalam tempoh 1 tahun itu dia dapat diskaun lah, daripada diskaun tambahan kepada NCD mereka. Sebab sekarang ini kalau sesiapa pemilik kenderaan, mereka ada NCD kalau tak ada claim, dan maksimum NCD ialah 55%. Dan on top of that, kita harap kalau mekanisme dapat ini dilaksanakan, sesiapa yang tak ada saman jalan raya dalam tempoh setahun yang lalu itu, maka mereka ada tambahan diskaun. So we are still working out the percentage lah.
Now, he added that the incentive would not only serve as a motivation for road users to adhere to traffic laws and regulations, but also help reduce the high cost of living. It is also a win-win situation for insurance companies, as lower accidents would lead to lower insurance claims. Lok explained his ministry wanted to use a carrot and stick approach to reduce road accidents by penalizing traffic offenders and rewarding those who follow the law. In other news, the government has agreed to form the National Disaster Relief Fund, TBBN, to encourage the public to assist in disaster management. Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the fund, managed by the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, would help the government coordinate donations from various parties, including individuals.
Saya ingin menyebarluaskan kewujudan tabung ini bagi menggalakkan sumbangan pihak swasta, badan sukarela serta sesiapa pun orang perseorangan atas prinsip pengurusan bencana negara adalah tanggungjawab bersama.
Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah, who is also the chairman of NADMA, was speaking to reporters at the opening of the National Preparedness Month earlier today. She added that civil preparedness was very important to be applied to society as a culture. The culture of preparedness among the people should involve the cooperation of all government agencies at the central, state and district levels, as well as the private and non-governmental organizations. Now moving on, a 3-year-old boy was found dead after falling into a sewer at the Pasir Putih Police Quarters in Ipoh, Perak this morning. Muhammad Anas Hadif Ahmad Hafiz was found inside the 2-meter deep manhole at 9 a.m. The toddler was playing with his older brothers in the area when he fell into the manhole. Rescuers had to use pumps to remove sludge to make it easier to recover the boy's body. Muhammad Anas Hadif was later laid to rest at Kampung Sungai Tiram Lekir Muslim Cemetery in Manjung. Elsewhere, a man who had raped his 11-year-old daughter and recorded a pornographic video of her was sentenced to 40 years in jail and 24 strokes of the cane by the Kuala Terengganu Sessions Court. Yesterday, the 41-year-old lorry driver pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child sexual abuse and was sentenced today. He was accused of raping the girl twice at a house in Marang, Terengganu on September 20th and again the next day. Besides that, the father had also recorded the act using the victim's phone. Judge Noriah Osman, in passing the judgment, said the accused should have been a good example to his daughter as she was mentally challenged, but had instead done the opposite. The daughter's torment had come to light when her mother discovered the video on the husband's phone. Elsewhere, an unemployed man was charged at the Magistrates Court in Aikaroh, Malacca for threatening to kill his mother last July 2nd. 24-year-old Muhammad Nura Haddin Mat Dali had allegedly threatened to take a knife and kill his mother if she did not give him money. He pleaded not guilty to the charge. Under the Penal Code, he faces a 7-year jail term or a fine or both upon conviction. The court allowed bail of 3,000 ringgit in one surety, with case remention set on November 27th. Also in Malacca, a staff at a tahfiz school in Bemban, Jasin, has been remanded for 7 days until Friday after a tahfiz student was reportedly molested and almost sodomized. Police say the incident happened on September 23rd, but the assault has been happening since last year. The mother of the 14-year-old boy came forward to make a police report last Thursday. Other children at the school have also allegedly been sexually abused. The 28-year-old suspect, who is the head of staff, takes turns with other teachers to take care of the students twice a week. Currently, there are 31 male tahfiz students aged between 7 and 17 at the school. Coming up, bombing leaves 10 civilians, including a child, dead. We'll be right back. We're back with world news now. Preparations for a major military operation in northeast Syria is complete. Turkey announced this on Tuesday after the US started pulling back troops and opened the way for a Turkish attack on Kurdish-led forces long allied to Washington. However, US President Donald Trump warned he would obliterate the NATO allies' economy if it took action in Syria that he considered off limits. This followed his decision on Sunday to pull 50 American Special Forces troops from the border region. Now, the US withdrawal will leave its Kurdish-led partner, the Syrian Democratic Forces, vulnerable to an incursion by Turkey's military, which brands them terrorists because of their links to Kurdish fighters who have waged a decades-long insurgency inside Turkey. "17 people were injured when a man driving a stolen lorry plowed into several cars in the center of the German city of Limburg on Monday. The driver has been arrested and the attack is being investigated as terrorism. Police said, based on several witness accounts, the suspect forced open the lorry door and dragged the driver out of the vehicle at around 5:20 p.m. local time. The hijacker then seized control of the lorry and slammed into 8 vehicles waiting at a traffic light. Several injured people were being treated in hospitals and one of them is in critical condition. Now, the site was cordoned off by police and tow trucks removed the damaged cars one by one. According to local media, the 32-year-old suspect is originally from Syria and has been living in Germany since 2015. Meanwhile, a bomb blast in Afghanistan's Jalalabad killed at least 10 people, including a child, on Monday. 27 others were also injured, with some in critical condition. According to authorities, the attack was targeted at a minibus carrying new army recruits. The bomb was placed in a rickshaw and detonated when the army bus arrived. After the first blast, security forces successfully defused a couple of other bombs in the same area. No one immediately claimed the attack, but both the Taliban and Daesh are active in eastern Afghanistan and especially in the Nangarhar province. Afghanistan has seen an upsurge in violence since the collapse of US-Taliban peace talks last month. Now let's hop on to Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. So it seems some drivers are still risking their lives and the lives of others in fruitless attempts to avoid tolls. One example is shown in a dash cam footage showing a Mercedes driver tailgating its way through a touch-and-go barrier just so he or she could avoid paying. And of course, the video went viral as soon as it went online, with tens of thousands of views, and has left netizens infuriated. Take a look. In the 7-second long video, the luxury sedan bearing a Wilayah Persekutuan number plate was seen charging into the toll booth. Without any sign of slowing down, it quickly escaped the barrier, following very closely behind the front car. The sneaky act was caught from a back-facing dashboard camera, and it seemed as if the Benz was about to hit the car in front. The incident reportedly occurred in the Klang Valley a day before the video was uploaded. Now, netizens took to the comment section to call out the driver's obvious cheapskate behavior. Others urged for the driver to be caught soon and fined a fit amount. Another netizen shared a similar experience that happened previously. Well, it appears like this type of incident is not so uncommon, as another video was shared online, this time involving a Honda. However, the selfish driver really did the job. After weaseling out past the toll barrier, the red Honda failed to notice that the front car had stopped, causing it to bump into the latter. In an attempt to quickly flee, this happened.
On Jalan Cheras and the Cheras roundabout from Samandenta and the Salak Highway. On the Casas Highway, flash floods near the Kemuning toll are causing heavy traffic and both directions between...
Now, it's not known if these two drivers have been caught or if any reports were made over the incidents, but this type of behavior puts innocent people's lives in danger in exchange for saving a couple of bucks. When we return, 2018 Shanghai Masters finalists eliminated in first round. Stay with us.
It's time again for the federal budget. But how will it affect you? Who are the winners and losers?
Will the governments fulfill our aspirations and deliver our expectations? How far will our money be stretched for social and economic spending?
Make a date with 7Edition this October 11.
For insights from experts on Budget 2020.
Only on MTV7.
Anda rasa saya ada masa untuk sakit kepala?
Panadol Activast diserap 2 kali lebih cepat.
난 오늘 이 자식을 그냥 지나칠 순 없다.
외계인은 없어.
아니야, 아니라고. 외계인은 있어. 여기 이 여자가 외계인이라니까?
너 뭐야? 너 누구야?
Thanks for staying with us. Now, Khazanah Nasional Berhad revealed it had received 10 offers from various parties to acquire its 32% stake in Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad. However, all these proposals were rejected as the National Sovereign Fund has no intention to sell its strategic asset to others.
Malaysia Airports. Masalah dia, Malaysia Airport adalah satu syarikat yang memang beruntung. Right? So, memang ada banyak interest daripada other parties yang nak membeli Malaysia Airport. Setakat ini, kalau tak salah saya, kita dah mendapat hampir 10 proposal untuk membeli Malaysia Airport. Right? Dan kita telah pun berterus terang kepada kesemua 10 orang ini bahawa kita tidak ada niat untuk menjual pegangan kita dalam Malaysia Airport. Sebaliknya, Khazanah telah bekerjasama dengan Malaysia Airport untuk mengembangkan operasi mereka.
He added that Malaysia Airports is actively looking for new opportunities in airport operations, like its fruitful venture in Turkey. Datuk Syariel Ridza also said Khazanah Nasional is satisfied with its 32% stake in the airport operations. The National Sovereign Fund will be required to make a mandatory general offer for Malaysia Airports as its stake reached 33%. Elsewhere, the U.S. Commerce Department announced Monday it is blacklisting 28 Chinese entities that it says are implicated in rights violations and abuses, targeting Uyghurs and other mostly Muslim minorities in the Xinjiang region. Now, among the entities being placed on the list are Hikvision and Dahua Technology, two of the world's largest manufacturers of video surveillance products. Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross announced the move, which bars the named organizations from purchasing U.S. products because the U.S. cannot and will not tolerate the brutal suppression of ethnic minorities within China. For the last 2.5 years, China has been detaining hundreds of thousands of Uyghurs in what Beijing alternately describes as voluntary de-radicalization camps and vocational training centers. China has reacted angrily, dismissing the U.S. allegations as groundless. And now Bursa Malaysia ended mixed today as bargain hunting earlier in the day tapered off as profit-taking set in while the market awaits fresh catalysts. The benchmark FBM KLCI trimmed 0.21 of a point at 1,558.79. Maybank IB Research said it expected the benchmark index to stage a technical rebound in the near term following plenty of divergent signals in banking stocks while buying interest emerged in utility stocks. On to stocks to watch. We have Anju Resources entered into a memorandum of understanding with Southern Steel Berhad for a 1.65 billion ringgit merger deal effectively. Both companies will inject their core operating units, assets and liabilities into a joint venture JV company in exchange for a stake in the JV. The core operating units of Anju and Southern Steel are being valued at 907.5 million ringgit and 742.5 million ringgit respectively. Therefore, Anju and Southern Steel will be granted a stake of 55% and 45% in the JV accordingly. Now next, the new petrol subsidy scheme is expected to cause a minimal impact to the earnings of Petronas Dagangan, especially to the sales volume. However, it is believed that the impact will be negated by the extensive network of 1,100 stations nationwide. Furthermore, the newly refurbished stations have shown an average of 3 to 4% increase in sales volume. And last but not least, Megafirst Corporation Berhad's transmission line from Don Sahong to Stung Treng is expected to be completed by early December 2019, just in time for Don Sahong's commercial operations in January 2020. The Electricity du Laos interim transmission line is expected to be completed in December.